Okay, good evening. The City of St. Cloud Board of Adjustment is now in session. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Have Vice Chair Julian Kalogridis,
Present.
Member Matthew Boggs. I have as an excused absence Chair Gary Jandro,
Here.
Member Megan Marshall,
Present.
Member George Mathis.
Present.
I have alternate Robert Newton as an excused absence, and then alternate 2 Courtney Gurnall. Present.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum, and Ms. Gurnall will be voting member this evening. So, thank you, sir.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion for approval of the minutes to last meeting.
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Passes 5-0. Thank you, sir.
Okay, any new business for the committee? Okay. Okay, public hearing items? City?
Good evening, board members. Virginia Renteria, Associate Planner for Community Development. The case I'm presenting tonight is BOA 23-00006. It is for a parking variance located at 4518 Mesa Verde Drive in St. Cloud. The property is currently zoned R1B. The property meets current off-street parking requirements for a single-family residential home with 4 parking spaces, 2 which are located in the garage and 2 in the driveway. The reason the applicant is asking for this exemption is that they plan on turning their garage into an additional bedroom, eliminating 2 out of the 4 minimum required spaces. The applicant is requesting an exemption from the Land Development Code, Article 3, Zoning Regulations, Division 18, Table 3-8, Development Regulations by Zoning Districts requires that minimum single-family residential requirements of 4 spaces per dwelling unit. So the applicant is asking to go from 4 to 2. You can see on the screen we have their current zoning, which is R1B, and their future land use, which is low-density residential. So the current conditions exist as such. The driveway is 435.20 square feet. The garage is 520 square feet, a total of 955.20 square feet. Based on the standard parking space minimum dimensions of 160 feet, there is a total of 5.96 square feet of parking available. Eliminating the parking garage will leave 2.72 square feet of parking, which is not compliant with Table 3-8 of the Land Development Code. Currently, the driveway and the garage space meet those standards. Still, if they were to eliminate the 2 parking spots in the garage, it would infringe on the parking spots available to this single-family residence, reducing it from 5.96 to 2.72. Staff recommends denial of the requested variance, as the hardship that is being presented on here, the applicant is creating for themselves. And they do have additional information. There was a code enforcement complaint about this. This is how this came about to the city. There was illegal construction done without building permits, and then the applicant applied for a building permit, which was stopped at the permit level by community development for zoning purposes due to the reducing of the parking spaces. The applicant has requested or has suggested a alternative, doing a driveway on the other side of her property, which is shown on your staff reports, which would be made out of either gravel or dirt. The Public Works Department has not confirmed whether the additional driveway material would be sufficient or if the placement she's proposing is adequate. The applicant has not advised staff of the current progress of construction. Staff is available for comments, and so is the applicant.
Just a clarification, Mr. Chairman, for the board, the purview of this board tonight is simply the request for the variance. So any of those other potential fixes or methods by which compliance could be met are outside of the scope of the board. So it's just the variance request, which is seeking a reduction in parking from 4 to 2.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Would the applicant like to speak? Or does anybody, excuse me, anybody have any questions for the city first?
Sir, you'll have a chance to speak when they call for public comment.
I thought he was
No,
asking, is anybody out here?
You'll have an opportunity at the appropriate time, sir. Just wait.
Okay, cool.
I have a question of staff, excuse me. Do you have an approved list of materials for the driveway? Is dirt regularly approved?
So I did reach out to Public Works. They do have a standard driveway detail that they provide residents. It doesn't list the materials.
Okay.
That's a determination they make.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the city?
Tisha Manning, zoning manager. Dirt is not an approved driveway, nor is gravel.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And the applicant being present, would the applicant like to speak? Please come to the podium, identify yourself, and
Good evening. My name is Suleimis, the GC helping her through this application.
I'm sorry, ma'am, could you just state your name and your address?
Suleimis Garcia.
Okay, and your address?
It's in Deltona, 273 Autumn Ridge, Deltona, Florida. For my client, started, like she mentioned, the work, not knowing that she needed permit from the city to convert the garage into living space. At this point, yes, I submitted the application documents. It was rejected because we don't have enough parking space. If the problem with the materials, of course, the materials can be changed. What we're asking is to have alternative parking spaces. Unfortunately, the work, it's almost finished, just missing the AC. So she already made huge expense on this remodel, which is why I'm asking for this variance for approval.
okay, as the board attorney had stated, all we can make a decision on here tonight, our authority is only on whether or not we can approve the change in the garage and allow the current parking spaces. Anything additional would have to go back through the city. So the only thing we can decide on tonight or vote on is whether or not we approve the request to leave it as is or deny it,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah,
Thank
if
you.
I could just to make clear, the request is for a variance to reduce the required parking on the property from 4 spaces to 2. That's the required parking is 4 spaces, but there are only 2 that the applicant is seeking a reduction from 4 to 2 based upon the plans for the property and/or the actions taken in connection with the property. And so you have your staff report, you've got the 6 criteria that are contained in the Land Development Code. All 6 of those factors have to be considered and answered in the affirmative to grant the relief being sought by the applicant. And so any questions you have of the staff or of the applicant or parties involved would be stemming from those 6 factors.
Okay, thank you. Any other
That's
comments?
it.
Okay, anybody else would like to have anything to say?
This is the time for public comment? Is that what you're
Yeah, I'm
asking for?
sorry. Yes, this is
Sir,
public
if you wish
comment
to-
time,
If you wish to speak, come to the podium and state your name and address.
Okay, cool.
and then you'll need to go over to the young lady there and sign the statement that you
Over to
spoke.
this lady?
Afterwards,
Okay.
yeah.
We have a form you'll need to fill out after you've made your presentation, so
Sure,
thank you.
cool. My name's Stan King. I live at 804 Hemlock Street, about 2 blocks over from her. And the notice I got implied that they wanted to change the parking in the entire development from 4 to 2. So I took 3 hours vacation, come down here and look, well, we got 4 people in here, and I'm going, okay, maybe I read this wrong, this announcement, but the announcement said that in the development currently, it was 4 parking spaces and 1 on the street for every other house, and they wanted to change it from 4 to 2. I didn't know it was for that specific residence.
Yes, sir, it's just
So
for
maybe
this
in the
residence.
future, you may want to be a little more specific in your public notice. I got 3 hours invested in this in my vacation time, which is very, very important to me.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I think we should be a little more specific, you know, say, hey, she wants it for her
Yes, sir.
house, not the entire
Yes, sir,
development.
if you have further comment, you have to make it on the microphone.
Anybody in the public
Thank
would like?
you, thank you
Anybody?
very much.
You're welcome. Anybody from the public would like to speak?
1, 10.
Okay, the board have any questions for the city or the applicant before we vote?
I have a question. So in the presentation, it was stated that it was for an additional bedroom, but the plans show an office and playroom. Is this going to be used for commercial use in the future?
So this is a question for the applicant?
Yes, correct.
Ma'am, you just need to come, I'm sorry, you need
Microphone.
to be on the microphone, yes, ma'am.
No, it's not gonna be. Even the garage had an existing door coming to the side of the house, and that's being closed and put down in the laundry room, just to make sure that,
Sir.
you know, it's part of the house, it's not gonna be used for commercial, anything
Okay,
else.
but her question is that
No.
we've got two different things here. In the beginning, it says it was to convert it into bedroom, but when we look at the drawings, it shows an office space and a playroom and not a bedroom.
That's correct.
That was her
Which-
question. correct?
That's correct. Yeah, I just wanted to know if
So
it
what-
had
what
any
is it
intention
going to
of
be?
future use be commercial use.
No, it's for the house. We suggested playground because my client has grandchildren. So it'll be, and she's also a real estate agent, so it'll be her office and playground when she has her granddaughter most of the time.
Okay, so it's not a bedroom, it is a real estate office because she's in real estate, okay?
It's her house.
Okay, any other questions? Would anybody like to entertain a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to deny the variance application as presented based on 3.4-2D of the Land Development Code.
Second.
Just for clarification, I did hear the second by Ms. Marshall. The motion was for a denial based upon, was it items 3 and 4 factors? Or I didn't understand what it was, just so the applicant understands what the motion was based on.
Sure.
I
It
just
was
did-
with
I just
items-
didn't hear, yeah.
Items F.
Item F,
Based on 3.4.2.d, specifically item line F.
I'm sorry, item which one?
Item line F, sir. Mr. Jack.
You hear? Oh, item F, I apologize.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
On that factor, okay. And Ms. Marshall, you seconded that motion?
Correct.
Okay.
All
So,
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
okay. The application has been denied, so,
Thank you all very much.
thank you, yes. Okay.
Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
No.
Oh.
How
sorry.
about, sorry,
I have the next Board of Adjustment meeting for February 14th at 6:30 PM.
But,
Mr. Chairman, I would like to see if we could please adjust that time to 6 PM, if it so pleases the board.
so there is, I guess, I had mentioned, I think that the board has the right to change the starting time for the meetings going forward. So, Mr. Chairman, if the board would issue a motion, second and carried, staff will make appropriate accommodations, and I'm assuming that the chambers will be available for the
Deanna?
time Ms. Marshall's
Okay,
requested.
thank you. I think it's clear, but we've been meeting at 6:30, and for various reasons, people have asked if we can change it to 6. And
Mr.
that's
John-
what the,
Mr. John
that's
Rowe.
what the request is at this point.
In the microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
And that's what the reason for the request is at this time, to change it to 6. Do I have a motion to change our times from 6:30 to 6 PM?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to adjust the time for the meeting to 6 PM moving forward.
Do I have a second?
You have a second?
You have a second?
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Opposed?
You would not be able to meet, discussion?
I coach baseball, and so at the high school, and a lot of our practices and things like that interfere. And so a little bit later is more ideal for me, but I'll do my best to be here if it looks like it's carried anyways.
The motion is carried 4-1. We probably should have had some
I'm
discussion on
sorry, I
it
should have
before.
opened this for
Sorry.
discussion.
Um,
My error, I apologize.
We, well, clearly, late arrivals can be accommodated when they occur. And so that's not fatal to your participation in the board. So appreciate that feedback. If that's been addressed, I would like to simply suggest, had a conversation with the chairman about the prospect about our next scheduled meeting, if the agenda is not too terribly cumbersome, that we tag onto the back of it. We'll close the public hearing and have off a bit of a workshop just to review sunshine, ex parte communication, public records, and things of that nature, just a general discussion since it's a new year. If that's something the board members are interested in. If not, just say so. I'm not sensitive either way, so.
And I'm interested.
Yes, sir.
I'm in.
Okay. Would you like to do, okay, well, I'll circulate an agenda and provide some backup information. We'll do that at the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other discussions? Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Nice to see you all.